you go Mac, you never go back. And I think that's never been more true since the dawn of Apple Silicon. It's a game changer, and I should know because I use them daily. I have a Mac Studio in my office, an iMac in my kitchen, and for travel, I juggle between a 14-inch MacBook Pro and my MacBook Air. Overkill? Sure, welcome to the life of a tech reviewer. Now, earlier this year, Apple announced a new M2 Max-powered 16-inch MacBook Pro, and over the last 4 months, I've been using it as my main machine. Hi, I'm MICHAELJOSH, your gadget matchmaker, and over the last decade, I've made it my job to show people around the world that tech can be easy, fun, and exciting. On this channel, I give you special access to the products I review, the events I attend, and all the exciting people I get to meet along the way. So if this is your jam, give this channel a like and subscribe, and I'll help you find the right gadget to match your needs. This is my review of the M2 Max-powered 16-inch MacBook Pro 4 months later. Okay, I'll let you in on a little secret. This is my first 16-inch MacBook Pro in probably 4 or 5 years. I travel a lot, and portability is of utmost importance. And thankfully, Apple now allows you to fully max out a 14-inch model, but for the purpose of this video, I had to sacrifice a bit. This is the second update to the 16-inch MacBook Pro since Apple switched from Intel chips to their own Apple Silicon. So if you own last year's model on the outside, this 2023 model will look identical. So you can skip ahead to the next chapter if you like. If you're upgrading from an Intel-based MacBook Pro, while familiar, there are a lot of notable changes. While still curved, its edges are now rounded, not sharp, and soft to the touch. Compared to the 2019 16-inch MacBook Pro, it's slightly thicker and heavier, but you'll notice too, it's actually not as wide. That's because despite the larger screen real estate, which is now technically 16.2 inches, the new model also now has smaller bezels. The words MacBook Pro are now etched on the bottom, and you'll notice the feet are raised ever so slightly. This helps improve heat dissipation. And of course, there's a notch up here housing the FaceTime camera. This might be a controversial opinion, but over the last few years of using a MacBook Air and a MacBook Pro with a notch, I actually hardly have noticed that it's there. In fact, I had to go back and check to see if my MacBook Air actually had a notch while I was writing the script, which is just proof that at some point you won't really notice. However, I do love Face ID on my iPhone, and hopefully one day that true depth technology can come to a MacBook Pro also. For now, there's still Touch ID. It's here baked into the power button, the same placement as before, but I like that there's a cutout or an outline around the sensor. That way it's easier to blindly just place your finger to unlock your device. Depending on the model you're upgrading from, you might also be surprised to find out that the touch bar is gone. Instead, Apple brought back the physical function keys for better or for worse. I love the touch bar. I also do love the function keys, but let me know which team you're on down in the comments section below. Other than that, it's the same keyboard layout with backlight, only all black this time. The trackpad too is the same large size as the 2019 model. Flanking the keyboard, there are speaker grills, and inside is a 6-speaker system. But for me, the most notable upgrade is the return of a full suite of ports. Whereas before we only got 4 Thunderbolt Type-C ports and a headphone jack, now we have a MagSafe charging port, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and 1 headphone jack on the left. And on the right, a full-sized HDMI port, another Thunderbolt 4 port, and an SD card reader. By the way, all of those Thunderbolt 4 ports support charging, but if you use the bundled MagSafe 3 charger, then you get the fast charging speeds. Also, that HDMI port is now HDMI 2.1, and with the right monitor, you get support for up to 8K resolutions at 60 Hz, or 4K resolution at up to a 240 refresh rate. Speaking of new things, I'm loving this new orange case that I'm rocking right now, and it's from this video's sponsor, Torras. Part of their new line launched this spring called the UPRO OStand Hue. You might remember Torras as we've featured them multiple times on this channel. They make the UPRO OStand cases, which are some of my favorites. Their new line of iPhone cases is perfect for the spring and summer season. It's what you'd expect from a Torras clear case, made of composite materials, but its buttons, camera edges, and impact-absorbing shock mat inner linings are neon. There's pink, green, and orange. I love the orange one because it also comes with a matching orange OStand. It's a foldable kickstand that allows you to prop up your phone in both portrait or landscape. You could adjust it any which way you like, perfect for both FaceTime calls and catching up on YouTube while I make coffee in the morning. But this isn't just a kickstand. It's magnetic too and perfectly aligns with MagSafe. So this case is compatible with a host of other MagSafe accessories. Of course, this wouldn't be a Torras case if it's not built with military-grade drop protection. It's got air cushions, a raised screen bezel, and raised camera edges. If you're like me and want to add a pop of color to your iPhone case this season, the UPRO OStand Hue line is available for $50.99 a pop. You'll find them at torraslife.com, and if you use our code GadgetMatch, you'll get 10% off your order. If you prefer the classic clear or black cases, they're on sale on Amazon right now at $34.99 and $38.99 respectively. Don't worry, I'll put links and pricing down below. Going back to the 16-inch MacBook Pro after switching between the 14-inch MacBook Pro and MacBook Air for a few years, took some getting used to. It also reminded me how much I love my MacBook Air so much. Compared to my faves, the 16-inch M2 Max-powered MacBook Pro is massive. It weighs 4.8 pounds. Add to that a whole bunch of camera gear, and my aging back starts to scream. I just wanna make you scream. Now, speaking of fitting it all into my backpack, I have a personal rule of using only up to 20-liter backpacks. Anything more than that is gonna be too heavy for me to carry. And with my 20-liter Peak Design backpack, the 16-inch MacBook Pro was a little bit of a squeeze. I'm just putting it out there, you might need to buy a bigger backpack if this is the laptop that you want to carry. As you probably know, I travel a lot, and I took this laptop with me on many of my trips this year. If you're flying coach, good news, it will fit on a tray table, but space will be tight. I guess what I'm trying to say is with my lifestyle, I still would prefer the 14-inch MacBook Pro or my MacBook Air. That said, with its bigger size also comes some perks. And I believe if one of these two reasons resonates with you, then this laptop is your gadget match. The first reason is obviously its bigger display. If you're a heavy multitasker, the screen size allows for multiple windows side by side. My favorite combo is a Google Doc and a browser window. If you're a video editor working on a long project, there's space for your extra long timeline, a large preview window with still room for your media browser. It's also good for entertainment, whether that be gaming or watching movies. This screen is much better than what a lot of planes have to offer. Or maybe you live in a small space and do not have a TV, then this is actually large enough to suffice also. If you're curious about specs, here we go. 16.2 inches, Liquid Retina XDR. Apple uses a mini LED panel that offers up to 1600 nits of brightness and a 1,000,000:1 contrast ratio, plus a refresh rate of 120 Hertz. It's a stunning display, definitely one of the best in the biz. Speaking of watching movies, that 6-speaker sound system that I talked about earlier supports spatial audio, which is perfect if you're watching content that supports it. Also, as important to the Road Warrior is long battery life. And this 16-inch MacBook Pro is packed with a 100-watt-hour battery. Apple is promising up to 22 hours of video playback, the longest ever on a Mac. Now, I push my machine a little bit harder than most people, so I never got that 22 hours that is promised, but I will say that I've taken it on many long flights, and whether that be cross-country, to Europe, or even to Asia from the US, I never found myself needing to charge this laptop on the plane, at the lounge, or even when I get to my destination. And when I do need to charge it, it ships with this 140-watt power adapter and MagSafe 3 cable that can get you up to 50% after just 30 minutes. And just so you don't miss it, if you're upgrading from an Intel MacBook Pro, you'll find that MagSafe is back on a Mac. And I personally think it's the best design for a charging port ever. Now, if you're like me and prioritize portability over a large screen and large battery, but still need that performance power, not to worry. I think the best decision that Apple has made is offering top-of-the-line specs regardless of size. This means both the 14-inch and the 16-inch MacBook Pro are available with either M2 Pro or the top-of-the-line M2 Max chips. My review device comes with an M2 Max chip, and it's souped up with 64 gigabytes of unified memory. Do I need it? Is it overkill for me? Probably, because of what I do. And that's someone who has to do with a lot of video editing on Final Cut Pro with tons of layers and plugins. I still don't think that based on what I do, I've been able to push this laptop to its limits. That said, here's a little inside look into how GadgetMatch videos are produced. I work with a team and we live in different cities, so normally the 4K videos that you watch on our channel are edited in proxies, which makes it easier for the team to collaborate on the same production. At some point, however, I will need to switch back to the project's original resolution, which for us is 4K H.264, and the M2 Max, it never slows down. Not surprisingly, Apple promises the M2 Pro chip can handle up to 23 streams of 4K ProRes, while the M2 Max, which is what I have, can handle up to 43 streams of 4K ProRes. Now, exporting videos is what takes a lot of time, and if you're trying to rush to export a video to meet an embargo time, then every second counts. So let's do an export test. And not to be clickbaity, but the results will shock you. We'll start easy, exporting my Louis Vuitton earbuds video. Total running time, 9 minutes and 10 seconds. My 16-inch Intel MacBook Pro with 64 gigabytes of RAM took 15 minutes and 5 seconds. While my 16-inch M2 Max-powered MacBook Pro, also with 64 gigabytes of unified memory, completed the same task in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. I also exported my OnePlus Pad review with a TRT of 15 minutes and 26 seconds. The M2 Max-powered MacBook Pro took 8 minutes and 24, while the Intel model from 2019 took 1 hour and 22 minutes. At one point, the fans even kicked in and the machine got really loud. The 16-inch MacBook Pro starts at just under $2,500 US for the model with the M2 Pro chip. For most folks, I think this model will suffice, especially if you're just after that larger screen. The M2 Max model starts at $3,500. Of course, upgrades can get that price tag higher and higher as you go through the various options. But if you get the base model and just upgrade to an M2 Max chip, that's just $200 more. The upgrade that I recommend, however, is $400 to bump up your unified memory from 16 to 32 gigabytes. You can go all the way to 96 gigabytes of unified memory if you can afford it, but trust me, that upgrade from 16 to 32 gigabytes will spell a world of difference. Trust me, you'll thank me later. So, is the 16-inch M2 Max-powered MacBook Pro your gadget match? Let me put it this way. If you're in the market for a new notebook computer, I definitely recommend one from Apple. Get a Mac. Most users will be plenty happy with the MacBook Air. That's just the truth. But if you need more power and performance, then I also highly recommend the MacBook Pro. And it comes with the GadgetMatch seal of approval. These new M2 Pro and M2 Max chips are so powerful, and while it may be more power than what you need right now, if you plan on holding onto your machine for, say, 5 years, maybe even more, then as apps get more and more demanding, you'll find that your machine will still be able to handle anything you throw at it for many, many years to come. Now, back to that 14 versus 16-inch question. That's something that you have to decide. Are you willing to sacrifice portability for a larger screen and battery? If so, get the 16-inch model. But if you prioritize portability and want a lighter laptop, then get the 14-inch model. I will admit, once this video is done, once it's uploaded, I'm switching back to the 14-inch MacBook Pro. And that was my review of the 2023 16-inch MacBook Pro. This one is powered by an M2 Max chip. If you like Apple videos, then we have many more to come. WWDC is right around the corner, so make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon so that you get notified as soon as we publish new videos. Follow me on social media for all the behind-the-scenes fun stuff, and for news and updates, make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next video, I'm MICHAELJOSH. Thanks for dropping by.